believe it.
Against the length of South Bronx today.
Danny, he had a career-high 16 in the semifinal win over previously #1 and undefeated Olean. Olean, by the way, falls number 6 in the polls. That shows you all these polls know. Not much. Inside, floater off the mark. Vachon trying to grab the rebound. It's tipped by South Bronx. Into the corner. Turner wide open, unable to hit. Inside, a follow and a finish. Maine makes it 11-4. Now JG3 trying to go into takeover mode. Euro step finish is off the mark. 4:23 left in the first quarter. South Bronx Prep in front. And a blocking foul coming against the Indians. And this is a dangerous moment for the Indians early on in this game. Down 7 points already. JG3 not yet getting going offensively.
Causing contested shots in the half court. This is going to be, right now, sort of a frenetic up and down pace relative to some of the games we saw earlier today. But South Bronx, a team that likes to get up and down, they actually eclipsed the century mark 4 times in games this year. So they can fill it up, and they like to run.
Averaging over 80 points a game, this team. Into the front court comes Vachon. Make that Barkley. Barkley on a nice finish. David Barkley has 2 on the scoreboard. It's 12-6. Those complementary pieces around Joe Girard III really need to step up in a game like this.
Yeah, JG3 garners a lot of the attention, and for just cause. But these kids around him need to know how to play with a superstar, play within themselves, and they do a great job.
Baseline J, no. But then a follow put up by Turner, and a foul against Trent Girard.
You mentioned before Turner averaging a triple-double. That included 11 rebounds a game this year, and you saw his ability to get up and get it and get to the line.
And in that win over Fannie Lou Hammer, which, by the way, Fannie Lou Hammer, the PSAL champion in 2018, came up here to Glens Falls, won the Federation tournament. In that win, though, for South Bronx Prep in 2019, just a few weeks ago, Turner had 19 of those 22 in the second half in a 54-47 victory. So that was monumental towards their success in that game.
Well, you can already see he's an emotional kid, plays with a lot of emotion, a lot of intensity, a lot of passion. Only a sophomore, so he's going to have a great 2 years ahead of him.
First substitution of the game goes to the Indians of Glens Falls. Reese McClements has come on for the Indians, number 23 in white. Here's Joe Girard III, right now facing a single team. He'll pull up from long range. And a foul against Turner. And Doug, I know you do some scouting. Try to give us the scout's perspective on JG3, a very divisive figure in the scouting community, whether or not he can make it to the next level.
Well, with his shooting ability and the school that he's going to, you kind of look at him as similar to like a Buddy Boeheim type player in that Syracuse system. Great catch and shoot guy. He's also he's a wrecking ball when he gets going to the basket, so he can attack, and playing in that zone will help him defensively against some of the quicker, bigger guys. So I think he'll fit in okay with Syracuse.
Yeah, the athleticism is the question mark really for him, and this is a good test to see how he does against the athletic South Bronx team. A right side triple, another one. Kennedy hit his second of this first quarter.
When he's hitting those shots, it's great support for Ajamain and Turner offensively.
Girard the third, a quick response. 15-9. And if you're South Bronx Prep, you have to watch out, because Joe Girard the third, once he gets hot, can heat up a building very quickly.
Well, 50 points a game is no joke, and he's done that this year, and I believe last year he's right around 50 as well. So he's a dynamic and rare offensive player.
And a foul coming against South Bronx Prep. And you mentioned he's a 50-point-a-game scorer. You know, it was funny last year. Didn't have a chance to cover him a year ago, and I heard the rumors, you know, you see the stories of him averaging 50 points a game, but I thought that was more, he was averaging 43, and you say he's averaging 50. He averaged exactly 50.0 points a game a year ago. Pretty incredible stuff. Now Trent Girard finding inside for Danahy, and Glens Falls after a rough start within 4.
Well, that's the other thing I talked about. That was Glens Falls in transition. Girard garners so much attention. The defenses, you know, will gravitate toward him, and these kids in the supporting roles of Girard and Glens Falls need to know how to take advantage of that.
And Danahy will be called for the foul. I don't believe the crowd here in Glens Falls likes the call. I'm not 100% sure though.
Probably not going to like any call against Glens Falls today, and they're gonna make their voices heard here.
There are 6,000 referees in the seats, and their stripes are red and white. So 2 free throws for the standout senior forward for South Bronx Prep. Knocking down the first one. And you mentioned, as an AAU coach and a scout, how often can you say you go to watch one guy? Maybe people are here to watch JG3 and you find out about another guy. This is a huge opportunity for someone like Jordan Ajamain, who already has multiple 40-point games himself this season.
Yeah,
1 and 2 in the free throw line.
Happens quite often. I'll go back to an old story. If you ever saw the ESPN documentary on the Big East, John Thompson, that's how he got Patrick Ewing. He was out to scout someone else. He saw this kid and said, hey, I want that kid. And that's how he ended up with Patrick Ewing.
16-11, South Bronx Prep has extended their advantage to 5. And Joe Girard III will be shooting free throws in a moment. And Doug, there's no doubt, despite whatever you think about him at the next level, he is one of the most talented players to ever suit up in New York high school basketball, and certainly the most talented player ever in Class B.
Without a doubt, he's got to be one of the great high school basketball players nationally of all time.
6th all time in points in the history of high school basketball in the country.
So even beyond New York State, Joe Girard has been a shining star at the high school level, and he will be contributing for Syracuse the next couple of years.
Steps onto campus in fall 2019, just a few months from now. It's 16-13. Bronx team yelling out signals as Turner walked over. Now Turner in the front court. It's reversed into the corner for an open triple. Unable to hit, but Turner follows, and Turner finishes.
Yeah, tough matchup for Tristan Girard on that weak side with Turner. He's given up a couple of inches and probably a couple of inches on the vertical leap as well, and Turner capitalized.
JG3 pulling up from long range, too strong, and Turner with a rebound. Turner under 6 foot, but rebounds at such a high level.
I think he's got 3 or 4 already here in the first quarter.
Candidate finds the open man, and Davis cans the three-pointer. It's 21-13, and a nice response from Bronx Prep as they double their advantage. It was 4, now all the way up to 8. McClements in a dangerous spot, looking for help. It's over to JG3. He'll try a contested 3, hand in his face. Danahy inside. Danahy with a follow-up.
Good work by Danahy inside. 6'6", big body. They're going to need him to clean up any misses these guys get, and he did it there.
Glens Falls is one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the state because JG3 takes so many threes and has 2 defenders on him. Those long rebounds bounce out. There's a defensive rebound for Trent Girard. Glens Falls within 6, 21-15. JG3, a lot of work to cross that timeline. He does. Driving inside, lost the handle, looks for a foul, doesn't get it. Turner, under 6 seconds left in the corner, all the way to the rim. And Trent Girard will throw a desperation shot. That is off the mark. It is a 23-15 lead after 1 quarter of play. Tom Prizeman, Doug Krigo with you inside Cool and Shering Arena. We'll be back on the other side of this break. You're watching the NFHS Network. 15 the score. Tom Preisman, Doug Kriego, thanks again for tuning in here on the NFHS Network. South Bronx Prep, one of the top teams out of New York City, and the champions of the Class B PSAL. To give you an idea how good this team is, in the Borough Championship, they play in the Bronx Borough, obviously. They were a number 4 seed. That's all classifications in the Bronx. They actually dropped a close decision to James Monroe, a AA school, in that game, but turning a home game in the Bronx Borough Championship shows you how good that team is, one of the top 4 in the Bronx.
Well, athletically, they're going to be able to hang. 6'5", Ajamain, Turner's a great player, and they surround them with shooters, and you can see that it'd be a big problem for a lot of teams.
Nobody got to JG3, but he can't hit. He's frustrated. That's the best look he's probably seen all season.
He's probably not used to being that open. Probably surprised him a little bit and threw the shot off.
And it's interesting, Bronx Prep right now wanting to slow the pace a little bit in a game like this. Typically the team with more speed and athleticism wants to get out on the break, but Paul Campbell telling his team he wants to slow down. Ajamain just bodies Girard out of the way for the rebound. JG3 with quick hands and able to poke it away. McClements puts it into the hands of JG3, just 4 across the timeline now. Able to just barely do that in 9 seconds. Girard III inside, and a foul coming. Girard III last week really struggled with his three-point shot in the championship against Louville. Got a lot of success in the second half when he started driving towards the hoop, and I think that's an underrated part of his game and something he might need to lean a little bit more on in this.
Yeah, he's really strong on the drive, getting into the paint. It's not just a shooter.
Inside, Stephen Turner missed the layup. A rebound grab by the Cougars. 23-15, a reset.
South Bronx to this point has been content using just one guy. You'll see a lot of teams throw double teams at Girard, but they're just using one guy to guard him right now, and so far so good.
Inside, and a miss for Danahy. Forced the miss as Ajamain couldn't handle the length. Girard III in transition, pulling up, unable to hit. He's gone cold to start the second quarter.
Good rebound by Ajamain, but on that drive against Danahy, drove to his left but tried to finish with his right hand. That's a piece of his game that he's going to have to work on in this offseason to be more effective at the next level. That's developed that offhand.
Turner winding down this clock. Looking for a screen as the shot clock goes under 10. Into the corner, Davis will pull on the trifecta. Unable to hit, McClements tips it out. Canaday in the corner for 3, no. Ajamain there, nobody bodied him. And if you don't close out on a guy who's averaging 15 rebounds a game, that's a mistake for Glens Falls. It's a 10-point spread now. And Glens Falls takes a 30-second timeout. We'll stay here. South Bronx Prep in front by 10. And now all the emotion of that first quarter is out of the way. This crowd has sort of calmed down. The teams have calmed down a little bit. And now we're playing what is best about this game, basketball.
Absolutely, on both ends, too. Like I said, the Glens Falls kids, they know how to play with a superstar. They know their roles. They play well within their roles. And on the other end, South Bronx executing their game plan, guarding Girard one-on-one. He hasn't been able to overly exploit those matchups yet, and they're right where they want to be right now.
He's off to a cold start, and that's an issue for Glens Falls at the moment. Down by 10 points. Davis locking up Girard III. Inside Vachon, up top to Trent Girard. Trent Girard airballed the 3, thrown it ahead now is South Bronx Prep. JG3, light defense. He was in foul trouble last week, and clearly this week he does not want to get in the same situation.
Well, I think he knew that that was a foregone conclusion what was going to happen there, so didn't want to throw away a foul.
As he missed the 3, but then a follow inside, banking it off glass. Brendan Quirk, he had 10 points in the championship win over Louville.
Yeah, great work by Quirk among the long bodies of South Bronx getting that offensive rebound.
Danahy takes a seat on the bench, by the way, for the Indians of Glens Falls, as Turner with a three-pointer.
Well, if South Bronx is going to continue to make it rain from three-point land, this is going to be a tough task for Glens Falls.
30-17. Girard the third in the lane, able to get a shooter's roll. 30-19.
Terrific position. He's so used to playing guys that are face guarding him. You saw him seal off to the defender there and open to the rim and got an easy shot for himself.
Yeah, that's not something you see from a guard very often, to seal out all the way out at the foul line, but he did a nice job.
Well, like I said, it's 2 years full of that type of defense. He's learned some tricks.
Rebound grabbed inside. That's Connor Girard, another cousin for JG3. He's driving the lane and traveled. He's frustrated. I think he feels like he's being fouled, and the calls are not being made in his favor.
Well, a team like South Bronx who's going to reach and scratch and claw and use their length, if it's not a tightly called game, that's going to be to their advantage. And so far, so good for South Bronx.
And there's some growing unrest in this building, and sort of feel, as it's 11 right now, and with their superstar at the moment looking very mortal. Into the corner, a travel.
Took a little hop there before he dribbled, and it's going to go back the other way.
That's Abraham Ramos. He'll take a seat, and then Avila, the freshman, will come on. Really, outside of Ajame, not a whole lot of seniors on this team as well. Paul Campbell's built a really solid program. Trent Girard for three. Within 8 now. Glens Falls, 30-22.
Big play there, and you saw Joe Girard pumping his fist as his cousin knocked home the three ball.
Second leading scorer for the Indians of Glens Falls, the New York State Public High School Athletic Association state champions, taking on the Public School Athletic League champions of New York City, the South Bronx Prep Cougars. As Ajame